Hi, my name is Luyanda and I'm from Syma Group, Pty Ltd, and trading as Syma Farms. The journey for me started in 2007 when I used to work for an NGO as a project manager for skills development for the community. In that organization, they used to have a food garden where you had your elderly mostly who were working in that food garden. So when the stresses of life would get to me, I'd actually go to the food garden, sit with them, and just it was so calming and distressing for me. So it was like my escape route. So that's when I actually started to fall in love with agriculture. And because of the way the program was set up, you'd do training and then you would help them to form a co-op, and then you would assist them in getting funding for the co-op and also assist them with access to land so that they can have their own farm and move out of the program and go stand on their own. So after a couple of years, it's like, but I love what I'm doing. I'm doing it for everybody else. Why can't I do it for myself? So that's when I decided to, in 2010, that's when I started to seriously focus on agriculture, and I actually left my job to take on this role on a full-time basis. And because of the challenges of access to land in South Africa, it was a nightmare and a half, because from 2010, it took me up to 2013 to actually get a call back from land reform to come in for an interview for a state-owned land. And I went for the interview and it actually went well, funny enough. And the only part that was left, it was for me to actually be allocated the land and sign the contract for that land. But somewhere along the line, my file just got lost. And every single year, they're looking for this file, which they cannot find till today. The funny thing is, you're not on the system, but sometimes they would call you. And my question would always be, but you guys are funny because you say you don't have me on your system, but how are you able to call me? Where are you getting all my information? But after that didn't work out, I just decided, you know what, maybe it's time for me to go back to work, because now even your finances are starting to deteriorate because you're using all that money to do all the other things. And while I was on that process, I met a lady by the name of Cindy Sabele, who became my mentor. She was doing vegetables under tunnels. She had a pack house, and it was something I'd never seen a black woman doing ever in my life, and it was intriguing. And she had letters of intent from Woolworths, and she was in a program where she was actually training with one of the suppliers for Woolworths, where they were showing her how to produce her produce, and she would allow me to go with her so that I can go through that whole process with her. And it was a wonderful experience. And I think I would have been further out with it had she not fallen ill. She got diagnosed with cancer. And it was so bad to a point where the doctors had literally written her off and thought that she was not going to make it. But by God's grace, she's still here. But unfortunately, she cannot go back to actually doing farming. And by the time she fully recovered, her husband had already sold the farm and everything else. So you could not even go and say, since you're no longer using the facilities, can I buy a farm from you? So the process had to start all over again. And I think in 2019, late 2019, that's when I decided to start all over again with the process and see, because when you love something, you just love it. You cannot just let it go and say, you know what, I've tried this, I've tried that, nothing is working out. Clearly, this is not for me. It kept on calling me to say, come back. And in 2019 late, I decided to go back. Little did I know that we're going to have COVID. But We pushed on, and I think I saw an ad for the Corteva training, and I applied. That was for last year's intake. I got a response that they would have loved to have me, but because there were so many, unfortunately, I didn't make it for that group. I was sad, but I was like, oh well, I'll try next time. And I did actually try the next time, and I got in. And I really don't want to lie, it has been a life changer, because I had gotten to a place where I'm like, I don't want to be an emerging farmer for the rest of my life. I've been to so many meetings and where farmers meet, and I've heard the language that comes out of their mouth. And I was like, I don't want to be you guys. I want to be a commercial farmer, and I know that it's doable because I saw it with my mentor that it's something that is doable. So what is wrong with this group? Why aren't you going towards that? And I realized that the biggest challenge is that most Black farmers, they consider themselves as farmers. They don't consider themselves as business people. So they focus more on the farming side and completely ignore the business side of their farm business. Hence, things now start to crumble, and you don't actually move forward. You're stuck in one place for the rest of your life because everything, it's hand to mouth. It's everything you put in, everything goes out, and you don't have measure to say how much actually goes into me putting this together and how much am I getting out of it. You don't know how to price, you don't know how to gain access to markets and all of those things. And with the program, it actually even helped me to change the whole entire business model. The way I looked at how I wanted my business to go, I started to have even new ideas to say, but I don't have to do it like that. Just because it's been done like that doesn't mean that I have to do it like that also. And the industry that we've chosen, unfortunately, it's got its own challenges. I think it's the most unpredictable industry you can ever be in, because you've got nature against you, you've got the weather against you, you've got everything just coming against you. You really have to have a tough skin in order for you to be able to make it in this industry. I mean, like recently, I'm talking about not even a month ago, I lost 12,000 seedlings. I don't even want to equate that because of someone who just decided that he wants to drive all of us farmers out so that they can do what they want to do in that land, because we all said, no, we're not willing to have him buy us out. So he did what he did so that all of us could not have water. And now you've already planted, and without water, your seedlings would literally die. So that's what I do. I do vegetable crop farming and focus on your peppers, the red, green, and yellow, tomatoes, and spinach. So I'd really like to thank Corteva for this opportunity that they've given us. And I know that it can help all the other farmers who are willing to grow from where they are and become commercial farmers.